Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for some more of this Datsun build. Today we'll be ripping apart this Dana 44. As you remember, I got this thing off of a friend's dad for 50 bucks for two of them. But today we're just going to mess with the front axle. This is off of a 6-lug Jeep Wagoneer. And this is the wide boy too, this is the 65-inch one. So before we can get it under the Datsun, as you can see, we got to get it stripped down. And if you stick with me, I'll show you how it's done. So this one here is actually nice. Messed around with it a little bit, it all rotates. There's a little bit of crud in it, but that's not too bad given its age. I mean, you could probably slap this in something and it would work just fine. Okay, as you can tell, I got most of this crap off. I already got the brake caliper off. And now we got to pull this hub. Shouldn't be too tough. I'm hoping all the mechanism in this is still good because the hub, or not the hub, the rotor and all that crap was so rusty. I probably got like, you know, half of a trash bag just from rust that came off of it. So I don't have high hopes. Well, I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect that. That's pretty stinky. Okay, and in here we got a snap ring. Got him. Now this comes out. Well, it's sealed pretty good in there. Ooh, yuck. Next comes the spring. Gross. The spring does have like a slight taper. I guess the thick starts at the base. All right, now to get that nut off, you're gonna want one of these specialty cups. These are specifically for the Dana 44s. I lucked out and I found one of these at the flea market, but I think they'll be worth it. Got it on a big old breaker bar. Hopefully I won't need it. Okay, here's this guy. From my understanding, this does not need to be directional when it goes back together. This piece does have a direction. When it goes back on, there's a little groove in it. And now we have another collar. We'll need our specialty tool again. Now this collar does have an orientation. If you can see, it's got a little nipple here. And when you put it back together, the nipple's got to be up the way nipples are supposed to be. And this here pops down on there, and that's what locks it in place. This little keyway mixed with the nipple. I guess nipples can be inverted too. You know, doesn't matter to me. I'll just suck it back the right way. What the hell am I on about? Okay, at this point, this whole thing should just come out. Grab this whole shebang and plop. Pull it up, we can take a look at this spindle. My guess is it's not gonna be looking super hot. So at this point, I'm checking the spindle. Here, it looks a little rough. Looks like that bearing was probably on its way out. It's a little bit scored all the way around. It's not roached, but you know, could be better. You want them a little bit more like this, pretty shiny. Even that one looks like it might have been letting go. All right, now all the way around this thing, we got 6 7/16 nuts to take off. I don't have high hopes of any of those coming without a fight. There we go, there's one. There we go, just got 6 more of those. Now it's time to pull this spindle and caliper mount off. My guess is that's extremely on there, but we've got just the thing to off it. Okay, maybe pry bar time. As much as I'd love to just pound it off, I probably could too, but we should be good. Continues to pound. There we go. There we come, Mr. Spindle. That's got a little bearing on it too. And yeah. All right, now it's time to pull this axle out. I did a little bit of pounding on this. I'm very naughty. You know, I'll show you when I pull it out. There we go. And of course, more rust for our trouble. Yeah. So I was not getting this thing out anyway. So I was bad. I pounded on it a little bit. Right there. Hopefully that U-joint will come out. Alright, now it's time to pull this steering knuckle off. I already broke these loose because it was quite a kerfuffle. But this top one, by the way, is a 34, and the bottom one is a 28. Yeah, I don't know what these are in Imperial, and I'm not gonna buy a whole nother 3/4 ratchet set for like a couple of ball joints. So metric is good enough for me. And if you have a problem with that, I guess I can cordially invite you to suck on my balls. All right, come on out. Okay, we got a couple nice wacky surfaces for this. And since we're not reusing this, we can smack it there too. We actually can't because that's just pushing it right out. That's fine. Cool. There we go. That is this side stripped down. Just rinse and repeat for the other side, and you're golden. Okay, so we got the other side off. You can see it over here after pretty serious amount of effort. Now, because we're shortening this thing down, we're gonna take out everything in the diff too. Probably wouldn't need to because it's nice, but because we're shortening it and we're gonna be, you know, flying metal chips around and all kinds of crap, I think it'll be better to just yank this thing out. So here's a little trick. I've been told this works. I've never actually had it work. You can take a rag, you just stuff it in here, and when it eats the rag, it'll bind, and then you can take off your pinion gear. Now, every time I've tried this, it's eaten the rag, but hey, it's worth a shot, so let's go for it. This one on the back is a 28. Hey, we might get it this time. We're gonna need a cheater bar. Oh, I think it just went. That's a miracle. I tried to do this on a Ford 8.8 before, and it just kept eating my rags. Well, if it wasn't a junk rag before, it is now. Okay, before we go ahead and pull out this diff, it's important to know that for these bearing caps, they are directional. So both of these have an identical number, and they face upwards. If you look at it from the long tube side, here we have a casting mark of a D, a strong casting, and it's corresponding to a D over here. I think this is intending to be an L, but it looks like it's made from the D stamp too. But this is like a junk little impression. So junk impression looks like a little U, and over here we got DD, which is weird because that doesn't correspond to driver. So I have no idea what it actually means. Anyway, this is these bearing caps. They are 19 or 3/4. I remembered that one. Pop. Pop. Now I don't remember if these shims are directional, but I'm going to keep them together anyway. Bloop. There we go. There is the driver's side. There is our passenger side. Now I should just be able to heave ho and away we go for this diff. Should be. When in doubt, ratchet straps. Oh, come on. Alright, I've got a slide hammer on this stupid thing now. And those are some tight ones. And that's all good. We're not going to reuse those, I think. Okay, now what we got is the pinion gear. It's this thing in here. And since we loosened it up before, it's going to come out pretty easily. Right? Ta-da! Cool. So here I was thinking this whole rotor and hub assembly was one piece, but it's not. These studs are pressed in and they hold them together. So we're just going to unpress them. There you go, there's that one unpressed. Now I tried this with the other rotor and I realized that, you know, since you buy these as an assembly, there's no never sees or anything between them. So I wasn't actually able to save it. But it's worth saving even one because the whole assembly is, do you want to guess? It's like 160 bucks, which I don't want to spend. So I kind of had like a Hail Mary attempt to split the other ones. I broke my wedge. I think I bent the hub because you know, I either fix it or it goes in the garbage, right? So I kind of attacked it with the sledgehammer. And not this one either, I'm talking the big one. So I got this rotor and hub now without all those studs. It's bolted up to the most solid thing in the garage, which is this old Datsun frame. And I just can't get this thing off. There's little spacers right here where I think you're supposed to be able to wedge something in. But I mean, like, I drove this in there and broke it off. Like, this is no joke. And I mean, if that broke, I don't know how I'm gonna get anything else with it. I have also tried the slide hammer. Stick it in there and but no luck. So I think I'm just gonna have to eat it on this. Oh, it's a bummer. So it's probably gonna be more hub and rotor assemblies that I have to buy. And since they're like 160 bucks each, what does that add up to? Like 300 bucks. That'd get you like a halfway decent, really crappy locker, but a locker nonetheless. These rotors, they're not awful. They're pretty awful. You hear the justification here. Maybe I could put them in a brake lathe, but I don't know. Pretty disheartening. Anyway, I'm gonna move on to pulling bearings out of the other things. Got this punch, just sticking it on the shoulder of the bearing race. Don't have a lot of room to play with though. Alright, I definitely have enough room for the slide hammer now. Oh, it's still very heavy. Oh, I'm gonna do a big hike too soon. How nice would it be to throw out my back like 2 days before then, doing dumb crap like axles. Okay, we got our slide hammer out. We're gonna take these last two seals out of the tubes. There's seal number one. I'm gonna keep this. From what I understand, these Jeep Wagoneers, they got narrower axle shafts than usual. So I don't know if like a standard rebuild kit will have the right seals. So this way I can just hopefully find a part number on it. Here, this one is short. Maybe I can reach the back of the seal through the tube. It looks like I can. Yeah, eat it. All right, now I got my knuckle. This bad boy. It's time to pound these ball joints out. Did the other one already. First thing you're gonna wanna do is pull out this snap ring. You can just do that any kind. Take it over to something nice and solid. Grab something else nice and solid. That's how we do it. So there we go. We got our ball joint press set up here once again on the most solid thing in the shop, which is not my bench vise. That thing's pretty tiny. So here we go. We got it set in here. And let's press that stinker out. That was good noise, was it not? Oh, busted. Go for that side. That's money. You're just in time for my triumph. I've been busting ball joints. So there we go. There is our Dana 44 front axle all stripped down, right down to it. So when building this thing back up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to shorten it a little bit. Like I said, it was 65 inches and the whole truck is only like 60 wide. So that would poke out way too much. So we're gonna get this thing shortened. I got some nice hubs, nice manual hubs to put on it. And I don't want to deal with this again. This sucked. So probably going to put a nice differential in it for now. Some kind of locker or limited slip. And I'll just leave the rear one as an open for now. I know that's a little bit ass backwards, but like I said, this was a pain. And it's much easier to mess with the rear axle, and you can do it on the car. So we'll build this one up for now, and we'll save that rear for another day. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.